Hi everyone. So it's me, Zigizwa, aka Tulip, and this Monday's topical issue, as we all wake up, is the issue of what happened at one of our formerly white high schools. It hasn't been exclusively white for a while now, but some issues have now come up and come to the fore, made it onto the media. And on Friday, a group of girls from the Pretoria High School for Girls decided to stage a protest after sort of the impetus or the last straw was that one of the students was not allowed to write an exam because of how her hair was. Because as a black kid, so it was a group of black students that were protesting. As a black child, apparently the school says that you're not allowed to have an afro. And she was obviously openly defying that because, I mean, as a black person, an afro is your natural state of hair. That's what your hair naturally looks like, unless you put it into braids or put it into cornrows or get weaves or relax your hair. And so it sparked a huge national outcry. But at the bottom of this is obviously just the policing of white people over black girls' bodies, and what is then being told to you by extension when you're not allowed to have your own natural hair in its natural state is that you yourself are offensive. So who you are naturally is unacceptable and therefore needs to be rejected. And this is obviously such a damaging narrative to play out for babies, essentially. I mean, these kids that were protesting were sort of between the ages of 13 and 16. And that's crazy, you know? I mean, these kids are people who are, I mean, I'm over 20 years older than them, you know? So for me, they really are babies. But how is it that adults can perpetrate such heinous violations on our kids? Because now the other thing is that kids are being taught, firstly, you are not enough, you are not acceptable. Their identities are being broken and shattered when they go to these schools because they are told who they are is not who they should be, and they should be aspiring to something other than who they are. And specifically in this girls' school is that you should be aspiring to white femininity. And obviously then if you're aspiring to white femininity, you're rejecting your own identity as a black young woman coming up. And that's a problem because the expectation is that by virtue of you now being in the school that's a formerly white school, you now then have to assimilate into white culture and reject everything that comes with being black because now you're being allowed into the space. White people are allowing you and accommodating you. But then, in order for you to be able to remain in the space, your role is then to, as far as possible, assimilate and aspire to be like who they are. And that's such a damaging thing on a child's psyche, and it breaks my heart that our kids they're not even being given an opportunity to even become full adults before this racial onslaught is released upon them. It's absolutely deplorable, absolutely unacceptable, and I can't understand what it is in the white mind that justifies the annihilation of a people's identity, the invalidation, the erasure of that identity. That is not okay. It'll never be okay. And I think it's in days like this where it really makes me so angry and touches me at such a personal, emotional level and breaks my heart that white people are breaking our kids. You know? Like, where is your moral compass? Like, who are you? Like, what kind of people would do that? What kind of people want to deny our children their personhood, their right to their personhood? And so all I can say, I guess, at this point, or one of the things that I want to say is that it will never come to pass that we as Black people will ever again accept our dehumanization, more so the dehumanization of our own children. It will never happen. And white people really need to take a step back and look at who they are and the kind of impact, destructive impact that they are having on the world. It is not okay. It will never be okay. We will never accept it. And this is our country. This is our continent. We're not going anywhere. We are not going to become white people either. So it's at a point where you need to accept where you are. You need to understand what it means to be a proper human being, because this is the things that you're perpetrating on people is not part of being a proper human being. I'm not sure what that is about. And we're not here for you to, at your whim and will, try and create many little puppets, and stop killing our children. And I think the beautiful part about this is that these kids at such a young age are actually doing things that we at our age did not do, because we were still of the assimilative generation and we didn't even have the support from our parents necessarily if we came home with these issues. But these kids are saying no. They're putting their voices out there. They're claiming their space and fearlessly challenging the system. And I can only applaud them. Only applaud them. And their parents must not fail them. They need to also wake up and fight the system back. I mean, these are their children. Don't fail your kids. Please. So, yeah, that's my post for today.